Greetings everybody, my name is Tommy the Game Master and welcome to another one of my videos. In this video I do want to talk about something that happens in the Tales of Vesperia story that I think confuses a few people. Not a lot, because it's somewhat obvious on what Yuri and the Don are doing, but people are confused at why Don asks for the second, asking if that means Yuri is now in charge of the Union or has a high place in charge of the Don's Guild, the Union, which the obvious answer should be no, because a lot of people want that position. Jaeger, for example, would have been there early at the funeral and jumped at the case if this was a position of power that the Don was offering, even though he and the Don don't like each other. There would be people wanting that. So what exactly is Don asking for when he asks for a second? Well, he's about to commit something called seppuku, which is basically a ancient Japanese way of committing suicide, doing it with honor, and could be used sometimes in politics, especially during times of civil war, and it does fit the scenario. So here's what's going on so far in the story. Earlier, Don sent Raven along with Yuri to meet with his friend Bellius of a rival guild called Patrollus, I do believe. Anyways, because the Don's nephew or grandson, I forgot exactly the relationship, is a bit of an idiot. He got duped by Leviathan's Claw into thinking that there was a monster that Patrollus was about to sick on the city of Dongress, his own city. What the monster was Bellius herself, because Bellius is an Intellicaea, and they're intelligent monsters who have done a lot of great things for the world, but they're monsters you don't want to piss off because they're extremely powerful. Anyways, a fight breaks out between Patrollus trying to defend Bellius and the monster hunters, a guild Henry brought along to make sure that the monster was dead. Well, Yuri manages to defeat the Monster Hunter Guild and things seem to be fine. Unfortunately, Estelle, not knowing about what her powers will do, decides to cure Bellius, and instead of curing Bellius, she manages to poison her and cause her to go insane, which means, unfortunately, Yuri has to put Bellius out of her misery. And although Bellius doesn't want a civil war, her last words are to try to prevent that from happening. Because Henry belongs to Don Whitehorse's guild, because this is Dongrass, because Yuri was traveling under a mission of a white flag, crap is about to hit the fan, and the Don knows it. So, what the Don is doing is basically telling the rival guild here, hey, my family was responsible to the death of your leader. If you leave Dongrest alone, if you leave my guild alone, if you stop fighting, I will give you my head. And this did happen some in the Japanese history. So that's what he's doing. You can see that he's on a mat. You do see he has a dagger. And the idea here is that he's going to stab himself through the stomach with that dagger, which is a very painful way to die. But before he gets any of that pain, before he feels that pain, Yuri's going to cut his head off with a sharp sword. Nobody wants to do this, of course, because it's number one, icky to begin with, but because they also respect the Don so much they don't want his blood on their hands. But Yuri is willing to step up and do it, and by doing that, he is kind of responsible for the death of both of their leaders, even though he didn't want it and he wasn't conspiring. It was just luck, but he was the only one who would step forward and do that, because he realizes if this doesn't happen, if the Don's plan doesn't succeed, there will be a major war between the unions, and that will only help the corrupt empire that he is fighting against. And it really does show how much of a resolve Yuri has, and I do love that scene. Anyways, this is Tommy the Game Master thanking you for listening to this. I will see you guys later.